Hello and welcome back to my channel, Checks Captures Chess. In today's video, we are going to be going over the Ruy Lopez. So this is part of our Learn the Openings. I believe we did the Dutch defense last time out. So today we're going to go over a white opening and a very popular white opening. The Ruy Lopez here. I'm going to pronounce it like this, by the way, as well. I think it has different pronunciations. But we're going to go through this. It's very, very difficult to do in some cases of defense and attack, but also positional and tactical. It has all kinds of theory behind it, but today we're just going to go through the core of it and a few of the variations around it and show you how you can play it and play against it. So as I play these first few moves, and you can see how what the actual opening is, I'll also quickly say where it was founded. So as it goes e4, e5, this was founded by a Spanish priest, and as it says Ruy Lopez, the guy was called Ruy Lopez de Segura. So obviously it's from his name, and he was a very good chess player around the 16th century and he obviously was a priest. So he had quite the following from it, and this is the opening right here. So this bishop to b5 here is the main move that's a bit different. Obviously it's not a bishop to c4 like an Italian, and it's nothing else trying to go for this pawn like a Scotch. So we're going completely different here with bishop to b5. Now what does this do straight away? Attacking the knight, obviously we're kind of getting a soon to be pin onto the king, should I say here, but obviously this d pawn's in the way. So what is the actual really idea here? So we're obviously attacking the knight on c6, which is obviously protecting the e5 pawn. We're not really trying to look to gain material though. What we're looking to do is to put long-term pressure onto all of these pieces, onto black centre, and try to attack the king side as much as we possibly can. So what are our main concepts for white? We'll do white first. So develop the pieces quickly. So obviously getting this knight out, very easy to do. There we can just do 3 moves like that and we've got every piece out. And we want to castle kingside early. So even as of this move nearly, if they move something like this, we can obviously just do quick castling here. And then we have that. But we also want to apply pressure on e5. So moves like d4 will be used. But also, in the long term, we could even use f4 at like really late times here. And also, we want to try and attack this c6 square, obviously. And again, moves like trying to get this knight in and even trying to get all of these knights out. The main thing here is to look for a slow build-up. We're not doing any other opening where we're throwing pieces into them and we're attacking them at every sort of minute. No, we're not going to be doing that. We're just going to take our time doing this, and we're going to call it positional chess here. We're going to just slowly bring our pieces up and, put them in the right squares. Maybe waste a few moves just to put them in the right squares and then create a very big monstrosity of an attack. So we're often here, as we say, we're going to seek for a kingside attack. Even though we're going to castle the kingside, we're still going to aim for that kingside attack here on one of these 3 pawns. Even though we will obviously have a pawn attack this way, but it's not necessary in this position, as we would like to obviously have our bishop already attacking this kingside and this knight helping to do that. So that's all of white's concepts. Now let's have a little look at black. So obviously you've got to try and maintain this pawn. So moves like f6 can help. Obviously the main move being d6 is well good there. But obviously we want to get the bishop out first. Any of these moves are very strong. Now the main thing here is black. So obviously if we're going over these as both of them, d5, very, very good. Or even, should I say f5 here. Two very good moves now that you need to play in some cases here, as it just opens the position for you. Otherwise you're going to be trapped and struggling. Now, exchange pieces at the right moment to relieve the pressure, obviously, that white is causing onto some of these pieces here. And last but not least, develop without, getting rid of pieces. Just develop normally and then get yourself castled, vice versa. Just simple development. So let's go through the major variations here. So the main one here is being the Morphy defense, where it's going to be a6 and then bishop a4 and then knight f6. This is the Morphy defense. Then it can go into other sort of bits here where you castle and that. Not really that's the big theory part of it. But here, what you're looking to do, as we've said before, is castle early and then just get your pieces out again, something like d3, d4, get the bishop out, all of that stuff. And the main thing here is after we castle is rook e1. Rook e1 is a really big must you can try and do here. So we have that, and we do not mind giving up this pawn, as there is, if I just show you, some lines here where we can obviously attack this pawn after. So there's not too much worry about losing that pawn, that's what I'm trying to say here. So that is the Morphy variation here. Now the Berlin defense is just going knight f6. We're not, attacking this bishop away, obviously, and attacking this pawn, as it's called famously the Berlin Wall. And what we're looking to do here is trade queens later on, and it's going to be quite a passive endgame for black, as it's going to say. And also, this is used at very high level as well, so you see Magnus do some of this sort of stuff, but mainly also Kasparov as well. So, we also have the classical defense here, where it's bishop to c5. Again, it's just a normal move where you push out one of these things. And now this is also quite a nice move, as later on when you get the knight here, you might be able to attack this f2 pawn. And obviously, again, it's normal development here. But as white, you want to be playing c3 and d4, kind of like the Italian game, where we want to play those sort of moves here and have a very good centre. And last but not least, there is some very, very different ones if you want to be a bit outrageous here, and even moves like knight to e7 here, which is called the Cosio defense. So it's an offbeat system, and it's very, unorthodox, which might throw the opponent off as white. So again, if you're black trying to go against it, maybe if they have loads of theory in the Ruy Lopez, then this is a very good way to try and get rid of that. But it will, obviously, on the eval bar, we are about 0.6 down as black, so you've got to, try and win that advantage back. So the typical plans here, in general now, so white's plans are to break into the centre with d4 after, getting all the stuff out and getting prepared for it. Got to have good preparation for that. Pressure black's queenside pawn structure, as it's not really going to be moving too much. And again, even the main thing is if b5 is played as well, you really want to attack that after this bishop's obviously going to be moving, mainly after this whole thing here. What we can do is play moves like c4 and a4 to attack this b5 pawn. So, and then last but not least, obviously here, aim for a strong kingside attack if black castles kingside. So if they castle here, we want to get a really nice kingside attack. We can already do that quite nicely with our queen, knight and bishop, let alone obviously this bishop and knight that's not even come out yet, plus this rook. So that's white's plans. Now black's plans here. Counter in the centre, as we said before, with d5 and f5. We've done this before, obviously. Very known there. Now, what we want to really try and do as black is trade off this light coloured bishop. This is going to be a problem for us, definitely, as black. You've really got to try and get rid of that. So, obviously, pushing it down here is a good start. And then soon you're going to want to get your bishop onto e6, attacking that bishop. Okay. And then, again, like we say here, and you just want to expand that queen side as much as you can, by trying to get, c5 down and then hopefully b4, because then it traps all of this, stops the knight from coming back if it does get out quite quickly, and it is very nice to do. So, that is it for the Ruy Lopez today. Now, just a few last things here. The famous players that do play this is Bobby Fischer, Karpov, Kasparov, and Magnus Carlsen. So, it's played by all the top GMs. So, obviously, it's quite a good opening that. There is a bit of theory, don't get me wrong. If you want to go have a look at somewhere else, they probably have tons of theory thing, chess.com. I saw Lee Chess Study. A load of people do that, where they kind of give you theory stuff there. But it's tons of things on this. There's traps, there's everything, I believe. Many moves into the game. So it's always good to go through one of those. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. So thank you and bye-bye.